Why should I give a damn?
What the fuck is up? You're now tuned in to episode 133 of Why Should I Give a Damn? I am your host, Eric.
It's your girl, Bree the Barber.
It's your boy, Randy King.
It's PD Pablo.
And we back in the motherfucking building once again. Make sure you hit that motherfucking subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. If you fuck with us on Instagram, follow us at WSIGAD_podcast. We are back on the audio platforms, as you may have seen last week. For those of you who follow our podcast, the full, unedited, uncut episodes on all platforms, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Make sure you follow us on those platforms too and subscribe. Episode 133, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to talk about. But first, let's talk about something that went viral out the gate. I got to talk about something. I know all of y'all was watching the internet, and when the girl, her name was Megan Hall. We got to start off with Megan Hall. Come on up, Megan. We got something to talk about. This was the white cop that got ran through by all the other cops, and she had a husband and got exposed basically on the internet, and everybody was clowning her, and she was, memes and jokes for days. But basically, they said that this woman, she was a cop, and she smashed 60% of the force. 60%. That means for every 10 dudes on the force, she fucked 6 of them. And she was sending pictures, and she was sending videos, and just getting smashed all over the damn place. And she recently came out with her first interview since this all went down. And she's claiming that she was manipulated. She was groomed. That she said no multiple times, but she was too scared. So she just started going down this dark rabbit hole of just getting fucked by dicks. And then, but she did say it was consensual. She made sure she let us know it was consensual.
Isn't that kind of scary? A cop was scared to say no. Like, if you that frightened to say no, like, what you gonna do on the streets? Like, she seemed a little, I don't know, a little too weak to be a cop, honestly.
Right. Are you suggesting white women shouldn't be cops?
You can't
No.
predict them when you went for 6 out of 10.
Wait,
the numbers are just not supporting
When you say
the claims.
60% of the force, how many
60%
people own
I
this force?
don't know. That's kind
Is this like a small police force?
Yeah, I think so.
It's probably a small town city. Yeah.
Jesus.
Even if
still a
it's,
lot of
let's say it's
motherfuckers.
10 cops, hit 6 out of 10 of them. Those are Steph Curry from 3. Those are better than Steph Curry from 3 numbers. Like, those are high percentage numbers.
And I'm not saying white women shouldn't be cops, even though they should be evaluated a little more. I'm saying, I saw an article, she was a 2-year rookie. You're a 2-year rookie. I don't know. You might need to stay on desk duty.
Yeah.
You might need to be doing some
How
traffic.
old she was.
2-year rookie. I didn't know you could be that. Shout out
Me
Ben
either.
Simmons.
I mean, Ben Simmons. Yeah.
And she was married, too.
But it's
Oh, yeah,
crazy
see
to
The
that.
me.
fact that she was married, that's unacceptable. Her husband is probably telling her to
See,
say
I was obsessed with this before
you
the
either
meme.
say this or we're done.
See, they were actually on the verge of getting divorced. So that's when she kind of started wilding out. And she was smashing dudes on the force. They was at party. Pretty much. So, like, during parties, they like, oh, she was just making out with people, sucking up dudes, like in the car, ducked off. And what was crazy was she was having a threesome with, because if you pay attention, they're only really showing the black cops that she messed with. She messed with a couple of white people, like Italians. So she was actually messing with, yeah. She was.
She wanted that BBC. She was getting
her
that
type.
black.
Her type was if you have a penis, she wants you.
Yeah,
but she basically was having
on that black.com.
So she was having a threesome with a cop and his wife, but she wanted her husband to have a foursome with the same cop and his wife. And the husband, if you saw him, he looks a little bitch made, a little putrid.
He look like he still play Call of Duty.
Yeah, he
8 hours a
like
day.
he like he's
That's
still
nothing
with
wrong
her.
Call of Duty players. Let's not say that.
For 8 hours a day, though.
Okay, 8 hours a day is a bit much.
So he kind of backed out of it last minute, and then that's when he told.
And we see this all the time. The young white chick from the suburbs who gets exposed to BBC and can't handle herself. Because the beauty standards when it comes to white people in the white culture is different from black culture. And I'll give you an example. A lot of times you get these chubby or bigger or thicker white women, and to the white women, while a lot of the white men, they look down on any little weight. If you got just a little weight on it, oh, she's a pig, she's ugly. They don't like that. Whereas like little weight to white man to a black man, oh, that's thick. That's cool. So a lot of these white women, they go from being fat,
Oh, well,
sloppy.
yeah, they starting to like the thick now.
Some of them. Sometimes it's thick.
They like flubber more so. They're learning what thick is.
Shout out Robin Williams. But at the end of the day, all I want to say is white men typically, not all, they're starting to come around, but a lot of white
Like
men
the shape
typically,
now.
they like the smaller women. Whereas black men, we like women of all sizes. We can do you see black men with the big, with the little, all of it. So
From what I'm hearing from you, you saying black niggas like fat white girls from the boonies. That's kind of what I'm
saying
getting.
black men have more dick versatility. Okay, when it comes to dicking down the holes, black men are more versatile when it comes to the size factor. Okay, so now just imagine this. Now you got these white girls who are a little on the bigger side, on the chunkier side, on the chubbier side. You know, a couple more Big Macs than the average size. And they get rejected by the white man, then all of a sudden they come down in the black culture in black neighborhoods in the inner city, and all of a sudden now you got niggas whistling at you, trying to get at you, saying you got a fat ass. Oh, a fat ass is a good thing now? A fat ass is not a good thing and when they come from, but now all of a sudden a fat ass is a good thing now, even the sloppy fat one. So a lot of times these women, they come into black culture. That's when you see them fully immerse themselves in black culture. I've seen it myself. I've seen white chicks go from overalls and hillbilly fits to Air Max and leggings over a course of a couple months because the black dudes start gassing them up, calling them thick, saying they hit, and they went from being the sloppy one that get made fun of in the suburbs to the chick that's getting the dicks. And a lot of these chicks that do this, not all of them can handle that sudden change of attention. So I've seen this with my own eyes. Sometimes they end up getting ran through. I've seen it at the job. I've seen it in the military, where all of a sudden they're exposed to this newfound attention from a different culture. They can't handle it, so they overload. Next thing you know, they're getting 10 dicks in a month, 18 dicks in a couple of weeks. Like, it's a weird type of energy. And I think that's what happened to her. She got exposed to that police force. She didn't understand what was going on. All of a sudden, she's in a dick frenzy. Okay, and then the other thing that's confusing me is she's saying that it was consensual. She, out of her own mouth, she says consensual, but then she's saying it was groomed.
Right.
So how can you be consensually groomed? I'm confused with that. Like, how can you be going with it, but then saying that you were groomed? And then when we use
Ask
the
R.
word
Kelly.
groomed, like you said, at what point do we have to hold the person that's grown as fuck responsible for their own actions? Because at the end of the day, if that's the case, all these little gangbanging niggas that's crashing out, killing people everywhere, they can say they've been groomed too. Because a lot of times they get groomed by the streets,
They kind of are.
groomed by the OG. So it's a slippery slope when we start using this groom shit. Because everybody, most people that commit crimes are groomed by, a darker force or an older person. Or
Can
a
I say
manipulator.
I would give her this if it was one guy and it was like the captain, then I could kind of see my job. You
60%, bitch.
You
gotta-
like you was with 6 niggas wives. You trying to set up 3, and then the crazy thing I was reading, she was like, "Oh, guys are desperate. They'll stick their dick in anything." So she kind of like her defense was, "I'm whack. I panicked and I'm whack." I read it like guys that's something you would say if you call your man fuck like a weak bitch. You said it about yourself now. I'm like, oh, and if y'all notice, she changed her hair brunette. You know, she covered the tattoos, crying. I'm just like, I said no. Yeah, she said, I said no. I'm like, you said no when they asked if their brother can join. That's the only time your ass said no. You was saying yes to everybody.
So in this case, you see her, like I said, she fucked 60% of her workforce consensually and has the audacity to sit there on camera and act like she's the victim and she was manipulated and all this other shit. Unless somebody put a gun to your head and told you better fuck 6 out of 10 dicks, otherwise I'm gonna shoot you or some shit, I don't feel sorry for the broad. I don't want to hear this little manipulation shit. Like, everybody want to pull that shit out their ass when they get exposed. At the end of the day, your dick tier went up when you went around niggas because they was actually gonna fuck you and you couldn't handle the shit and you fucking crashed out on D. You vitamin D'd out. Because how old is she?
I think they did say 24. I could be wrong. Yeah.
So even more so, let me know that, okay, this is you. Yeah, you was a stupid young hoe that had to go through your little hoe phase.
Yeah, I think the day of people just taking their licks, shutting up, taking your. I think them days is especially. I don't want to make it like that, but especially women and white women, those days are long gone. Niggas too. I'm not gonna put it on there, but I just see it more where it's like, damn, I fucked up. let's move on. Now it has to be I was raped. I have trauma, mental health. I'm gonna like I said, every time Demi Lovato fuck up, I was a drug addict. I'm sick. Now I'm non-binary. It's like you just fucked up. Fall back. Stop coming with a new script. You weren't raped. Now you want to talk about how somebody finessed you. And lady, sorry if you had sex and you didn't like the sex. Don't go back. And when you get in trouble, say niggas raped you. And fellas, stop running through white girls. It's a trap. It's like free candy. It's like Hansel and Gretel with the free. When you see the candy, yes, don't hop on that train. It's free pussy. We just seen 2 football players who missed their chance go to draft get their charges dropped. That happened in Madison a few years ago. Stop smashing these white girls because they will not own up to it. They won't.
They know all they have to do is say, he made me feel uncomfortable, or he raped me, or he did this, he did that. And 99 times out of 100, there's going to be a white judge or a white police officer or a white whatever in charge with power that's going to grant them that victimhood every time. They use their victimhood as a weapon. So that's why you got to be careful with this type of shit. And that's what's going on. So at the end of the day, she got ran through by 60% consensually. There's no excuse for that. And she was married, so there's no excuse for that. I understand we live in this whole.
So if it's 100 police officers on the force,
she got hit by 60.
God,
she got hit by 60.
I think
damn.
I'm gonna go with a small force.
Let's say
even if it's 50 of them, that's
30.
50 of them. That means she.
How is you going to work every day?
If it was 20 people on the force, she got hit by 12. So that's a large number.
That's still a large number.
More people can say they hit that can say they haven't hit. If you didn't hit that pussy at that station, you're
like
in the
her
minority.
Husband. Like you like her husband. Like
they walk around like, oh, you ain't hit. Oh, you ain't hit Megan yet.
My wife hit her last week.
Oh, shit, you still ain't hit. So at the end of the day, man, like you said, if it was 1 or 2 people, that's different. The whole force, you obviously was enjoying that shit, and you admit that it was consensual. Ladies, if y'all want to live that sexual liberation life, you got to take. It's no different than when we say with the gangbangers, right? When they want to live that hard life, you want to, like Ja Morant and all that shit, you want to tote guns and live that shit. You got to take what comes with that, the consequences that come with that. It's no different than this over-sexual, hyper-sexualized life. If you want to live that life, you got to take what comes with that shit too. So at the end of the day, I don't feel sorry for her because I know I
didn't even get a raise out that shit. That's what sucks. That's why if she would have got paid more, she probably would have.
That's why I won't call her a hoe. I'm gonna call her a smut.
Yeah.
At least hoes get paid. Like you just getting ran through.
I don't think she got a raise or extra benefit, a time off.
That's why she tried to sue the police station. Shit.
Suing them, and you know what's crazy? I think she might end up winning that settlement because I can't underestimate white women because when it comes to them in the system. They might be able to manipulate that shit for their favor every time. So I hope she don't win. I hope she continues.
Well, she want her husband because he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
he's staying with her. He a fucking man. Simp of the year already.
He's the face.
Wait till death do him part, Ronnie. That's the vow. So you don't know. We don't know nothing about that. That's
you
why.
Want to know why? Because he's the face of the new age man that these new feminist and girl power chicks like.
He like
the guys that were just
Will
sitting.
Smith.
The guys that let their woman just be a complete whore and have
don't say nothing to her.
And just don't say nothing and just sit there and hold their hand while another nigga smash them.
Oh,
that's what they want. That's what they want. That's the future of what this little feminist shit is. You just being a cuck while your chick sits there and gets fucked. So I'm not with it. I hope you're not with it. Another thing that we got to talk about, though, since we're talking about women, the Toronto Raptors had something to say about women as well. And this is kind of scary. This is one of those other topics that's scary for me. Because the Toronto Raptors on National Women's Day came out with a post, and pretty much what they said was they were thanking women for being the only. And it was National Women's History Month, to be honest. It was a Women's History Month. Just like we got Black History Month in March, it's Women's History Month. So shout out to women.
Then we're going to have Ice Cream Month and Dog Month. Like, what are we doing now? This is getting ridiculous.
Everybody got a
Who
month.
run the world?
But I got to give, like I said, shout out to women. We all come from a woman, got our name from a woman. Shout out to
y'all
women.
days numbered.
Much love to them. But basically, the Toronto Raptors, they made a video for National Women's Month that pretty much said, we appreciate women. Y'all are the only ones that can reproduce. None of us would be here without you. You know, just showing love to women. And they got backlash from the trans community for saying that women are the only ones that can reproduce. My head exploded when I saw this back. I didn't know what to because I'm like, what are we doing now? Like,
Do they be trolling or do they be?
If
for
I
real?
say the
Like,
sky is
what?
blue, do I have to worry about backlash now?
Yeah.
Like,
Cause that's misogynist. Why can't it be pink?
No.
There's hues.
They call it phobic, transphobic.
Oh yeah. Well, that
I call them true phobic.
So I got a couple questions for the trans community. So is it that men giving birth, is that the terminology, or is it studs?
they consider themselves women.
Because they say something about birthing people and all
Yeah.
that. It's only women. I'm just confused. Like, if you identify as a man and you want to carry a baby, that's just not something a man would do.
To the women out there who like to push the whole, the trans woman narrative, and they like to support everything. Like I said, I'm a believer in everybody should be able to do what they do as long as you don't interfere with what the next person is doing. It's a free country, right? But at the same time, like I always say, this shit is eventually going to infringe on women's rights. You're going to start seeing that women are going to take the L in this whole movement when it comes down to it, because women already have to fight for everything they have. Women are already not equally paid, not equally respected. Women already are fighting an uphill battle, especially women of color. They have to fight the sexist battle and they have to fight the racist battle. But now you have these white men, these white boys that have come in here, and because they identify, because I'm not even going to include, when I talk about this, I'm not including the LGBT black people, because y'all get treated like niggas like anybody else. And it's a different category. Y'all don't represent the masses that actually have the power. Y'all don't represent the LGBT power structure. So when I say this, I'm not talking about the black LGBT. I'm talking about the white guys who control this shit, because the people with the power are the white dudes. They control this whole movement, and now they have the power to come in and just say, "Oh no, I'm a woman." Like I always tell people, Caitlyn Jenner won Woman of the Year. Women, y'all been working on y'all rights and trying to get all this equality. What the fuck do y'all think is gonna happen when we make it a free for all to where a man can just automatically be a woman? How do y'all think? How do y'all think that the race and the race for y'all equality is going to be impacted then? Because now you got, not only do you have to fight to be equal to a male, but now a male can say, you know what, I'm you now, and now you got to fight against them too. I don't even want to slander them. Like I said, it's America. If they want to be men, if they want to identify themselves as that, do that. But now, once we get to a point where a professional basketball team is crediting women for factual information that they can reproduce, which is factual, we can prove this. Once you start backlashing and making people apologize for factual information because it doesn't go along with your personal preference and your personal belief, that's where we have a problem. Look, you can believe the sky is purple all you want. You can have a whole clique of people, the Purple Sky Group. Y'all can be the little purple. Oh, the sky is purple. All of y'all can go around saying it's purple. That's your right to say that. But once I get to going somewhere and I be like, oh, I'm having a good time enjoying the blue sky, and y'all want to talk shit about me, now I got an issue now. Because I'm just enjoying the sky that I see. You can enjoy the sky you see, but I'm enjoying what I see, and I see blue. If you want to see purple, enjoy purple on your own time in your own section. But don't put me in a position where I got to sit up here and fake like it's purple when I'm looking at the blue. I'm looking at the blue. So that's my issue, is when y'all start trying to force y'all beliefs on other people. I'm like that across the board when it comes to religion, sexuality, whatever it may be. We have the right to believe and do what we want, and we have the right to do that without impeding on somebody else's beliefs. I believe that. But once you start trying to put people in a position where I can slander you or I can talk down on you because you don't view the world the way I view it, that's why it's crossing the damn line. So, like I said, shout out to the Toronto Raptors. I don't think it was shit wrong. Once we start getting to the point where we have to apologize for stating facts, humanity is going backwards. Humanity is going backwards. It's crazy to me. Like, it's cold in the wintertime. But it's not cold in the wintertime. Some places it's not cold. Some places it's hot. I'm offended. Like, it's crazy. Like, being offended is a hobby for so many people. it's a good clout come up for so many people, and I'm sick of it, man. At the end of the day, fuck them. If you don't, I'm not finna agree with everybody. How do y'all feel about it? I know Ronnie's a pro.
A pro what?
Pro Tran. So shout out Karuchi. But
oh my god.
Oh my gosh. I'm pro LGBTQ too. So I mean, you know.
Nicki Minaj bars
no, but like, man, shout out to I gotta shout out to Raptors once again because it's fucked up. They getting backlash over this whole situation.
Fuck the rap.
Yeah, at the end of the day, man, I can't call it like it's to the point now where you can't call a girl, you can't call a boy. You gotta use all this they, them, those, and like even some of and the reason why I feel comfortable because even a lot of the gay people are getting sick of this
Jeffree Star, I hate Jeffree Star, but you know he creepiest man alive. But he said to himself, he got backlash.
shit. Yeah,
They and them is dumb. And then I seen a bunch of other, trans people come out like, no, it is dumb. And I'm just like, and he was on Bussin' with the Boys, which is like a football podcast. I'm like, why the fuck this nigga on here? And they had just had the reel, and I just seen the headline, and in the comments, people was going crazy, and then it went viral on Twitter. And I mean, that's the whole thing. I say have a conversation with people in these groups.
right.
Sometimes a lot of them will find somebody older and have a conversation. You can really see, just like when white people or whoever get intel from us, we talk too much.
Right.
You got to talk to these groups and see how they really
Well,
feel.
I will say that's why,
And you will learn a lot about the division within that group, but they put the greatest front. It's like women, the cattiest people in the world, but together, yeah, sis, you 600 pounds, but you as bad as Jordan Smith. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing?
But that's why I don't respect people who you can tell they only communicate with people in their own demographic. Like hood niggas who only talk to hood niggas.
They make their own echo chamber,
yeah,
their own
so they
bubble.
don't know shit. Or Sadiddy
Don't like
little.
to be challenged much. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
nobody challenges your way of thinking. Like, and I feel comfortable talking about certain groups because I speak to all kinds of people, gay, straight, black, white, Democrat, Republican. Like I won't say I got friends of all different types of people. But
What's your favorite non-black group to converse with?
favorite non-black group to converse with is definitely Asians.
Mm.
Asians are definitely even.
Like
Asians-
for a week, you would hang out with like an Asian family.
I would hang out with Asian people just because they're funny as fuck, without trying. Because number one, their accent makes everything they say funny.
Oh my god.
Their accent makes everything they say funny. So that's one.
Oh my
And
God.
two, they're the most blunt people. So like they're rude, but not by nature. They're rude, but because they're rude, but like our soft ass standards. Like in a lot of these other countries, they're a lot more straightforward with the shit they say.
Well, they smart
Africans
guys.
are like that too, where they just straightforward and it
Yeah.
comes off as rude to us.
Yeah.
But the Asians, they got that voice that make it sound funny. So,
How
like
they
I
be
said,
sounding?
Rush Hour took
Please
advantage of it for 3 movies. Like, shout out Chris Tucker. I'm not gonna say
That
it.
is true.
We're already
Even
shout
down
out
to
bad
like
enough.
the little small signs you might see in a convenience store.
Thank you
You
very
know,
much.
no T-shirt, no service, or $5 minimal, knowing damn well that's illegal.
Like one of my
But
Asian,
you know, like the broken English signs are funny. Yeah.
like one of my Asian
rude.
curse words. I mean, one of my Asian coworkers. Every time she says motherfucker, like anybody say motherfucker, but when she says motherfucker, like it's more
Yeah.
funny because she's mad. But it sounds like it's something off a movie script or some shit. But she's dead ass serious and shit. Like them motherfuckers be tough talking plenty shit. So